As many of you know, our college was named after the English biologist Thomas Henry Huxley. In his name, one student each year is honored with the Thomas Henry Huxley Award. The recipient has demonstrated exceptional scholastic achievement, been involved in the community, served Huxley College, and shown all-around excellence in environmental interdisciplinary studies. This student was nominated by Professor John McLaughlin for excelling in scholarship, diversity, and service. The student has earned a 3.6 GPA with a double major in environmental science at Huxley and outdoor recreation and leisure services from the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. He has founded and coordinated the Amboseli Orphans Project in Kenya, where he also conducted research on the effects of climate change. His service includes several years as a Big Brother and working with the Western Office of Admissions and Center for Service Learning. It is my pleasure to introduce Seth Norell Bader, our 2013 Thomas Henry Huxley Award winner, who will share some of his experiences as a Huxley student with you. Seth.
Well, first I want to thank John McLaughlin for nominating me for this award. I met John pretty much on the Grand Canyon. He's a heck of a boater and a pretty good singer. But you'd never know it. I also want to apologize if I smell bad. People in the front row, I just walked out of the Central Idaho Wilderness. But you guys are Huxley students. You know a lot of smells. What I would like to do is, we've been here for a long time, some of us, myself included, and a lot of energy, time, commitment spent working here. And I think we need a moment to release all of that before we move on. So I'd like everyone just to stand up. Everyone in the top row too, please stand up. We're all here together, man. And on the count of three, I just want you guys to throw your heads back and howl at the moon. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. That was nice. So like Steve said, my name is Seth. I've been calling this wonderful city home for the last 5 years. I'm really sad to leave. And when you come into school as an 18-year-old and leave as a 23-year-old, leaving 5 years of adolescence and growth and coming-of-age experiences here, it's inevitable that you change. Paulo Coelho, one of my favorite authors, once wrote that it's important to be bold, take chances, nothing can substitute experience. That's what I feel this town, this community, and this university, particularly Huxley, has done for me and for all of us, encouraged us to be bold. My path might be a lot different than some of yours. Steve touched on some of the things I've done, raft guiding, working in East Africa, working as a wilderness ranger, and recently working on a trailer, which I live in, which is great. But one of the biggest change agents for myself has been the opportunity to start an international nonprofit organization. And what that really does is get orphan children into school. I noticed an area where that wasn't really happening, and a spot where a little bit of effort could go a long way. It kind of touches on one of the themes that I want to address to you all today, and that's just appreciation. Appreciation for simply the opportunity to be here, to be in school, and to be educated. As you graduate today, you join a small percentage of the population on this planet who will ever have the opportunity to pursue a degree in higher education. So take that, respect it, and go with it from the rest of your lives, because it's an incredible opportunity. I know a lot of students who would love nothing more than to come here and sit in classrooms with you guys all day long and sit in the computer lab all night long, but they simply can't. So please have that appreciation. Secondly, appreciation for the Huxley faculty. I want to thank you guys again. As Steve mentioned, I used to work in the Office of Admissions, and one thing I always told students coming here to look at the school is that there are the folks here that if you have a dream and if you have a passion, they have the resources and the dedication to help you get there. And I think it's manifested in the Huxley faculty and staff. So thank you. Can we give them a round of applause? They're really not mentors, they're more like family. The next theme I want to talk about is going to be obvious, but it's why we're all here, the environment. And you all could have chosen a much different path here at this university. You could have been any number of majors, but you chose to be here. And I want to say you chose to be here not because you were more concerned about a paycheck and the amount of money you were going to make in your life, but what you would leave behind and the difference that impact would have. I think that's really noble and really brave, and it shouldn't be looked at. I believe that Huxley students, from being around here for so long, are some of the most passionate on campus. I think you guys would all probably agree with me. It's because you found something in the natural world that resonates with you. Am I right? Yeah. You guys are called to serve, and you're called to serve something that speaks to you. But there's a lot of other people out there that, in a sense, would try to oppose that. I was recently over in Idaho and watching an old Forest Service video made in the 70s about the Wilderness Act, and a quote caught my eye, and there was a guy talking about those damn hippies that want to preserve natural tracts of land. And he said they're selfish people. They would rather keep the land for natural, aesthetic, or spiritual values rather than extract something useful from it. They're selfish people. And a question I would have loved to ask this individual, and I asked to myself, and I like to ask you all, is, where would you be without the natural world? Not so much where does my clothes come from, where does my food come from? That's all important, but where would you be inside? I don't know about you all, but thinking about that really frightens me, and so that's one of the big issues we're all addressing. So thank you all. I need it, you need it, and thank you for being the class and being the voice to defend it, because it needs it. The last theme that I want to touch on is one of simple, pure happiness. A good friend of mine told me once that incredible opportunities come to people who travel in happiness. And that's something that I try and travel with. And I know that the path of happiness looks different to everyone. And parents, you might not like hearing me say this, but you guys don't have to get a job right away. Don't be in a rush. Yeah, right? Like I said, happiness is a different path for everyone. The job might be the path, it might not be. But I think it's worth saying that it doesn't have to be. And I want to use the small Himalayan country of Bhutan as a simple example. Bhutan recently, a few years ago, decided that measuring the productivity and the success of their country shouldn't come in how much money or resources they're extracting. It shouldn't be measured in GDP, gross domestic product. They decided that they wanted to measure it in GNH, gross national happiness. There's a big happiness movement out there, and Bhutan's the forefront of it. It's something that I would hope we all can try to apply to our lives, and it's a different path for everyone, like I said. So it might not be in a job, it might be traveling to Bhutan, traveling somewhere else, sitting and having a conversation with someone you've never had before, or simply having time to reflect in the natural world. What I would encourage all of you is to find that and pursue it, because the money will follow. To finish up, I want to use a river as a metaphor, because I really, really like rivers. And in the end, I was just sitting along a river and I'm trying to write this speech and thinking about how life is really like a river in a lot of ways. It starts off high in the mountains, just a little trickle, a little thought in your parents' minds. And it grows. It comes out and Yeah. Woo. It slowly gains speed through adolescence. You have a lot of folks in your life who I'm sure have helped you grow, just like all the other mountains, tributaries come into it. And it continues to grow, and all too soon, the river kind of leaves its mountain environment, and it gains speed, and it begins to tumble, and it goes through an incredible period of change, and it moves too fast for its own good. It carves its place into the landscape. That's where we all kind of are right now, almost. We're finishing up that time in college of rapid growth and change and violence. And eventually, sooner or later, the rapids pause. The river takes a deep breath. It turns around, and it looks back at the mountains from where it came. The mountains are you, parents, if you hadn't quite figured that out yet. And it thinks about leaving the mountains, and that's kind of where we are in this moment, taking a time of reflection and pausing and looking from where we came from. And from there, every river changes and is a bit different. Some will continue to be rapidous, move quickly, and others will slow down a little bit. They'll meander. But in the end, all rivers do eventually slow as they approach their final resting place. And in the very end, they all end up in the same place, mixed together, regardless of the path that they chose. So whichever one you're on, enjoy it, be happy, and for this moment, be proud that we made it. Congratulations.